What's going on, everyone? My name is Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the real turnaround times for CGC. Before we do that, though, hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that. So I recently sent off a book to CGC. It was my TMNT #1 third printing. I got it signed and sketched by Kevin Eastman. It came back in 8.5. It came back actually a couple months ago, but I actually had to send it back to CGC for a reholder. And in today's video, we're gonna be talking about the entire turnaround time from when it left my house until it got back. So let's go ahead and start talking about that. I contacted CGC about this book having issues. I want to try to throw up photos of it right now. The book was sliding around on the inner well, and I didn't notice it right away, but I was able to contact CGC and get this book reholdered from them for free. And what we did is I contacted them and they were like, okay, fill out this stuff. And I did, and I shipped it off from my house July 11th. And then for me, that is when the clock starts. It left my house July 11th. That is when the clock starts. Now, it arrived at CGC's facility just 3 days later on July 14th, 2023. Unfortunately, they did not enter it into their computer for 11 days, which felt like an eternity. I do know that obviously not every book is going to be received the exact day that it arrives at CGC. I know there's a lot of in-house signings, a lot of companies sending in books for pre-screen 9.8s, a lot of cons happening, so I understand that it's going to take a while. But it felt like those 11 days felt like a long time before it was finally entered into CGC's computer as received. And on their website, that is when they talk about the clock starting is when it's finally received into CGC's computer. Okay, so the clock started on July 15th for them. Obviously, like I said, it started for me the day it left my house. It got reholdered and it came back just fine. Everything's great. It was shipped back to me September 5th, and it arrived back to my house on September 8th. So if we're looking at the total amount of time that it left my house until it got back, we're looking at 59 total days, which is basically 2 months, which is really not terrible, though I don't like sending off especially expensive books like this one. Now, it's not a first printing or second printing, but third printing still hold a decent amount of value, and I don't like sending off, like I said, expensive books to be reholdered or even graded, really, because it's just kind of nerve-wracking for me. So I actually have a couple other books. I'm going to try to throw up photos of them right now. I have a Detective Comics number 359 and a CGC 5.0 that at some point I would like to be regraded, or not regraded, reholdered, because it's in one of those old cases. And I also have a Brave and the Bold 28 as well that's also in one of the older cases. Both of those books I would like to be reholdered by CGC, but I do not want to take the chance of shipping it to them. You don't know what's going to happen when you ship it. You have no idea what's going to happen. I've had plenty of packages destroyed by CGC, not CGC, sorry, the US Post Office, and you don't know what's going to happen at CGC. They already messed up the first time with this book, so you don't know what's going to happen. I'd rather go to a con, give it to them, have it reholdered there, and got it right back. I don't want to take any chances. I don't like having an expensive book gone from my possession for any length of time, and this was hard for me to send off this book as well. So if we're looking at total time, like I said, it was 59 days, but if we're talking about actual time at CGC in terms of when it was received versus when it was shipped off, we're looking at 42 days total, and that includes weekends. But CGC's website talks about how they only do business days. They're open Monday through Friday. Now, there was some days that they were not there because of holidays. I think there was Labor Day, and then they were gone for a couple days as well because of a hurricane. So if we take those into account, for the business days, we're looking at 28 business days from when it was received until it was shipped back to me. Now, if we're looking at the website, what does the website say for the reholder? The reholder time on their website is 25 days, which they're only off by 3 days here with my book. But like I said, there was a hurricane in there. There was a holiday in there. It took them almost 2 weeks to receive the book. So it really felt like a long time, and I was a little bit worried about it. Honestly, I think everyone is worried whenever they send books off to CGC. But I wanted to make a video for you all. If you're thinking about sending books off to CGC to be graded, you don't know how the turnaround times are. It feels like right now turnaround times are around 2 to 3 months. I know some people have waited 8 months. Me personally, I've waited 8 months at one point, but before I got my books back from CGC. Some people have waited way longer than that. But if we're looking at the actual turnaround time versus when I got my book versus the website, it is only off by a couple of days, and it would have been even better if not for hurricane and a holiday in there as well. So I'm actually not super upset about it. 2 months isn't that bad. 28 business days really isn't that bad. I feel like, though, with the amount of people sending books into CGC, I feel like they need to do a better job of getting those books entered into the computer in a timely fashion. 11 days was way too long, and I understand, like I said, there's a lot of companies sending in books to be graded in a 9.8 for them to sell on their websites. There's a lot of cons happening. They have their in-house signings as well. This feels like it's taking too long to get those books entered into the computer, though maybe it's been longer in the past. I don't know, but like I said, I just wanted to make this video for anyone that was worried about sending books into CGC with their turnaround times. Is it going to match up or is it not? This is actually not in a bad example. Like I said, it was only off by 3 days, and their website, I think, talks about how it's an estimate. So you're not guaranteed to get it back. Let's say it's 20 days. You're not guaranteed to get it back in 20 business days. They talk about that on there as well. Again, I'm Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of today's video. What do you guys think of my book? What do you guys think about the turnaround times? All of that and more. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, go Cats.
Cowabunga. It's morphin' time.